Hello, my name is Deirdre Dillon and I am a candidate in the local elections. Food poverty and the Irish people. The Irish people have a long association and ancestral memory of the issue of both starvation and food poverty. In an Irish context, food has been, is being, and it appears will be further used as a weapon. In 1974, the US National Security Council, under Henry Kissinger, completed a classified 200-page study, National Security Study Memorandum 200, or NSSM 200. It was meant to be kept secret, but later was declassified and was transferred to the US National Archives in 1990. A number of very senior politicians in this country met with the recently deceased Henry Kissinger at the Four Seasons Hotel in Dublin in 2010. Kissinger made the infamous quote about the weaponization of food supply as a means to control a population. This imperialist internationalist policy is still being implemented in all Western countries without the consent of the people. And this control has become very obviously more recently with the war on farmers under well-promoted false pretences. Irish farmers have been culled for many years, and statistically speaking, a young farmer is now somebody in their mid-60s. This has massive implications for both the economy and food supply. The distance from farm to consumer has been made as wide as possible, and the importers to the supermarkets are in very carefully placed choke point positions in the food supply chain. The quality of food is going down and the price is going up through both supply and demand and artificial currency inflation. The public are not told is actually due to the artificial contrivance of the collapsing value of the euro. More and more euros are needed to chase after the same perceived food value. As people are made poorer, their choices in diet worsen, and there is an impact on declining health. Also, the amount of food that people will afford to buy at any one time will decrease in creeping desperation, in which people hope is short-term, but sadly it may not be. This is made all the worse when there are dependents and small children involved. Many, if not most, of Irish people in this situation carry great shame and do everything to cover up this terrible predicament, and it may take a lot of secretive suffering on their part before they admit they need help. There is a lot of stigma to overcome. They do not want to be seen as hopeless or helpless paupers who are needy, even though they have a very legitimate need. In a country with such massive production resources, it is a great scandal for food to be put into artificial scarcity, even by pricing people out, or putting them to such a low threshold of poverty. In the past, under most obvious colonial rule, we had the so-called poor laws, and local borough councils took responsibility for food poverty. Then, through a taxation called rates, were used to allocate to the hungry. You may be surprised to know that the poor laws were the only reason for rates, and while the rates have continued being dredged out of the public ever since, indeed the help for the poor has stopped. So it is not at all a new idea to spend rates on helping the poorest, and in light of the fact that the Department of Social Protection is increasingly failing at that task, in line with the so-called government making this worse. If there was a comprehensive plan put in place, resolving food poverty would become a temporary situation, as people are assisted into a better position, where this would not be an issue of concern. In America, they claim to have used to resolve food poverty by the issue of food stamps, but sadly food stamps have been used to buy something in the appearance of food, but is known to be damaging public health, and misleading food labelling has made the matter significantly worse. The situation in this country could be made immeasurably worse in light of the plan to bring in CDBC's central bank digital currency. Then keep in mind where the government, who has failed the people so badly, will then get to decide what people eat, and it will be the ultimate diabolical micromanagement of society. Many politicians are more concerned with getting their heads into the trough than helping the people with food poverty. Even though the problem exists, it is not seen to be a valuable political football to play with, and also they will not want people to know the history of food poverty, to know the purpose or end game. This is a matter I will be raising, irrespective of it being a popular or more typically unpopular subject, as the need for safe, affordable food is a daily need and not a need for fulfilment at election every 4 years. Thank you for listening. To be better able to assist you, I would require your support through you giving me your number 1 vote, and looking forward to meeting you on my campaign trail and thereafter in the future. In the meantime, please see my website Deirdre-Siobhan-Dillon.net and social media links for more information and new content. Slán go fóill.